Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the best football debate show on YouTube. We are we're we're getting through these technical issues, and today it's like because we've not talked about this, we've not had a full show for 2 weeks. There's a lot of things to talk about in the world of football. There's of course things going on in the Premier League. There's new signings made. Barcelona are making moves. It looks like Nico Williams may be staying. Atletico Bilbao after all. La Liga predictions, Premier League predictions. We need to talk about the new Champions League format because it was announced 2 years ago. But as we are heading towards the new Champions League season, we're going to look at it in a bit of a deeper focus because it is very important for us to be up to date with what is going on in the Champions League and all the changes that will happen there as well. But yeah, I'm okay. I'm ready. I'm good to go. But how are you doing, Yusuf?
I'm amazing. I'm good, man. Can't wait to talk football. It's been like a couple of weeks. We've missed a lot of things.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the technical difficulties are sorted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Let's go. Okay, so the first thing I want to touch upon is the not Champions League, sorry, the top 10 transfers so far this transfer window. And over the past 3 days or so, I mean, Manchester United have been active all transfer window, but especially over the past few days or so, Manchester United have made moves that kind of go to show the new ambition that there is within the club. And I'm talking about the signing of De
Yeah.
Ligt and the signing of Mazraoui, getting
hmm
two Bayern Munich players in one, like a quick sweep, to go and strengthen the club, to go and strengthen the the defense of the team, which was awful last season. Can I just get your thoughts first, Yusuf, on Manchester United and what they've done so far in the transfer window?
Manchester United. I feel like Manchester United mean business.
Yeah,
That is what Manchester United. The signing of Mazorawi and the signing of Delete just shows that they are going all out next season.
yeah,
It just shows that they are ready to go for everything. And I like the direction. I like the way, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is going with the management of Manchester United. He's trying to put a stamp on the team and give like Ten Hag, yo, I'm giving you the last chance to
yeah,
prove you can do something. So sign whoever you can sign and let's go with this. The Ligt is a very big sign, trust me. After you brought in the youngster who just got injured,
yeah,
and now Mazarawi, and you are making a few bills from the fact that when Bissaka is going to West Ham,
hmm
and the signing of Delete, the amount and everything. Look, this is great. This is great for Manchester United
yeah.
at the amount.
I remember last time we talked about Euro and the league. I said specifically that I really like Lenny Euro. I thought Lenny Euro I think he's a great player. I still think he's a great player. It's just I don't know how Lenny Euro fits in this team straight away, and that
Mhm.
issue that I had was um, further emphasized or made worse by the fact that Lenny Euro was injured and he's going to be out for 3 months. So now we were stuck in that same situation of last season where we don't have a good enough centre back pairing. But all of a sudden, we
Yeah.
managed to get ourselves, what's his name? Managed to get ourselves Delict, and our centre back pairing is one of the best centre back pairings in the Premier League, at least on paper. We of course need to see
Right.
how
Mhm.
Delict and Martinez get along. But the fact that you've got
Yeah.
Delict and Martinez starting in that team, and you've got Lenny Euro on the bench, he's going to be ready to come in. I think that is very, very positive. It's something that you can look at and be like, you know what, this club is actually means business. They are moving forward in the right direction, and the moves they're being made at the right time. It could have been done a bit earlier, but you wanna get this transfer window, the summer transfer window done now, and you don't want to wait for January or for
Very true.
next summer transfer window because as you said very well, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, he because Ten Hag did his part at the end of the season by getting a trophy and by getting Champions League and getting European football. So now Sir Jim Ratcliffe said, you know what? Keep your contract. I'm going to help you, and then next season you have no excuses. Like everyone needs to be
hmm
operating at this high standard. At this high standard, sorry. Even Nico, the new CEO we bought from City is like they are getting in the right people in the right places, and they're bringing in the right players so that we can be successful.
hmm
And honestly, as poor as this club has been, I can only be optimistic about this season and what's about to come. But yeah, we still need to see what the football looks like at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, uh, we could talk about United for a long time for the whole show. Really, there's so many things that you could say about Manchester United, but just leaving the Premier League for a second. Another signing I want to talk about to you was the Julian Alvarez transfer to Atletico Madrid, because you have a player in Julian Alvarez who was an extremely promising player when he was still at River Plate. He came to City, of course, because Pep really wanted him. But Pep bought Alvarez in at a time where he also had Erling Haaland, and Alvarez integration into the squad was made that much harder. So, especially you in La Liga, and with the way Atletico Madrid have been playing over the past 2 seasons, what's the feeling right now in Madrid with Alvarez coming in, and what Atletico can do in the season going forward?
In the beginning of the whole, in the beginning of the whole conversation around Julian Alvarez, it was it was positive. The signs were positive in Madrid.
Yeah.
People were looking at it like a very good addition to this um, Atletico de Madrid squad, moving from a Morata to a Julian Alvarez, who we have seen prove himself time and time again any chance he gets. His only stumbling block was Erling Haaland in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But every moment he's gotten without Erling Haaland, be it injury or just a replacement for smaller games, he has proved himself. And I feel like with the Argentinian squad, he constantly tries to what uh, work above his means, show he's proving his worth in the Argentinian squad, and that is why he's a solid member of the squad.
Yeah.
So I feel like, yeah, in the beginning everything was sweet. All of the Atletico de Madrid fans were happy about the signings. The only downside to everything is after the signing was made and the amounts came out,
Yeah.
conversations changed.
Yeah. It was a lot of money. It was a lot of money,
Yeah, so
and that's
currently that is
yeah. Go on, go on.
I was saying currently that is the conversation now. People are talking about the money.
Yeah, because the conversation with City is always the fact that they have all this funding going on. That City,
Hmm.
they don't comply with fair play. That Manchester City, they of
Hmm.
course they have the 100, that was it, what, 101 charges or 100 and something charges, which is crazy.
Hmm.
But now it's like they're making the most money in the Premier League. They have the highest revenue.
Hmm.
They're only second to Real Madrid, and they're also selling their bench players for 75 million euros. That is excellent business. That is
That
excellent
is that is that
business.
is actually crazy business.
You're making the most money in the league. You've been making the most money in the league over the past 2 seasons. You've got the best squad, and you're selling your bench players for 75 million. Players
Hmm.
that you are able to let go and dispense off. It's like, how do you even begin to stop this City team?
This is a total massacre.
It is. But yeah, on that same
This
note,
is a total massacre.
on that same note, again, at least myself, I'm very excited to go and talk about the Champions League in a second. But there's just been so many signings since we last spoke, and one of the more surprising signings, one of the more exciting signings has been John Neves, because over the past, I want to say 2 years, maybe 2 years and a half, one of the most exciting players in world football, at least in European football, has
Hmm.
been John Neves. John Neves has been a player that is being looked upon as
Hmm.
the future, at least in terms of the midfield position of the future of the CDM position. Excellent on the
Yeah,
ball, excellent on the tackle at this tender age. Benfica are a talent factory. They continue to pump up talent, and John Neves is one of those players. And
facts.
there was a race to see who was going to be able to sign John
Hmm.
Neves, who was going to be the next person that's going to, or
Hmm.
at least the first person that's going to be able to get his signature, and it so happened to be PSG. So, thoughts on John
Facts.
Neves to PSG from Benfica, Yusuf, for 59 million euros?
Oh, I think it's for the price. It's amazing. As you said, he has been one of the talked about talents in world football. Everybody is racing for his signature. He's proven to have the IQ levels and like the performance levels of an elite player. So currently, I think PSG did very well to sign a player like Joan Neves. I like the direction PSG is going. I think they are moving away from the big name direction to more compact players that can play roles in the team, that grow with the team and become stars in the team,
Yeah.
other than bringing people that are already stars. So I like the direction PSG is going, and Joan Neves is like a perfect addition to the squad. You look at their current squad, he has a position in the squad already. All he has to do is just, find ways to gel with the rest of the squad, and they are building something. I think the post Kylian Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi PSG is going to surprise world football. If they keep going like this, they are going to surprise world football.
Yeah. Also because I remember before the whole Neymar the transfer and etc. I used to really like PSG. I thought they had a very good team. I'm talking about the likes of Lucas Moura, Pastore,
Mhm.
Zlatan, Cavani. I really liked that. Mid 2010s PSG team. They were extremely dominant in the
Mhm.
league. There was never a season where PSG's dominance was ever questioned, unlike the years of Neymar, Mbappe, and
Mhm.
Messi. And they just came up short every year in the Champions League, but you kind of always felt bad for them because they would always like end up playing the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid and City in the knockout stages, and it was like they were never on that S tier. They was just never not they weren't good enough. So I want to see PSG get back to that level. I want to see PSG go back to being a team that you watch and that you're excited for. I feel like
Mhm.
Luis Enrique he's definitely one of the best managers in the world. And if you want a team that plays exciting
Mhm.
football, that plays football that the fans can rally behind, if you want someone that can build a team properly, he's one of the guys to go for right now in world football. And yeah, as I said, it's just wanting to see PSG go away from their their recent strategies, which hasn't really worked out for them. So it's going to be again, we're going to talk about the Champions League format in a second, but it looks like some of these teams, they could have a chance now. They could have a chance because the Champions League format is different. And of course, PSG, if they are able to build their team in the right way, they can of course be successful in that competition. But yeah, that's just our quick thoughts on João Neves and another very exciting player, someone that you're a massive big fan of, Yusuf. Actually, Daniel Olmo finally made his move to Barcelona for how much was it? Dani Olmo 55 million euros from Leipzig to Barcelona. I think that this is a move that Leipzig will be happy about, Barcelona will be happy about, Dani Olmo himself will be happy about because we all know he was pushing for that move all summer long. And then of course the fans, Barcelona fans are going to be delighted about the signing because of how instrumental Dani Olmo was for Barcelona in the Euros and their road to victory.
He was instrumental for Spain, but word around town here in Barcelona is the fans are not happy for the signing of Daniel.
Okay.
They used to be excited because he was going to be a signing of Williams and Olmo.
Yeah.
So if both players were coming, they were excited for that. But paying this amount for Olmo, they feel they have players that fit the same position.
Hmm.
And a brother of mine here is a Barcelona fan. We've had conversations coming from an actual Barcelona supporter who loves Barcelona. They are not happy for the signing of Dani Olmo now because they feel like they already have younger players, younger talents that are coming from the La Masia, already players that are already in the squad that play the same position as Dani Olmo or do the same things that Dani Olmo does. He mentioned the likes of Ferran Torres,
Yeah.
and it made sense because Ferran Torres is already struggling to find a position in the squad. And now you are bringing a photocopy of a player like Ferran Torres. He mentioned Ansu Fati, who's back into the Barcelona squad.
Yeah.
So yeah, they already have players in the current squad and La Masia who have proven to be like Daniel Olmo. So I felt like initially I was excited for Daniel Olmo, but I felt like this money for a team that is struggling to allocate money for things could have been used on other more beneficial things. They need a box to box number 6 who is going to play the Busquets role, but with a Kante feel.
Yeah, because De
They
Jong.
can't keep relying on De Jong.
Yeah.
They can't keep relying on De Jong to do that. I've never rated Frankie De Jong as a number 6 because JVM, what do I always say? I need my defensive midfielder to what? Defend. De Jong is too excited to play football that he forgets the actual role of defending. That means he needs a Gavi to cover up for his defensive deficiencies. So when a Gavi is injured, the team looks like they lack midfield density because De Jong has to push the ball forward and perform his defensive midfield roles. So I would rather you have De Jong in the 6th position and sign an actual defensive midfielder who can facilitate for De Jong, Gavi, and the Pedris. Typical example is what Real Madrid has with Tchouameni. Or typical example is what Real Madrid has done over the years in replacing our defensive midfielders. Moving from a Xabi Alonso to a Casemiro, moving from the likes of the Casemiros to a Tchouameni, you could see it's a position that is so important, and we invest in signing players to totally cover that position. I would say over the last 20 years, Real Madrid has spent a lot of money in the defensive midfield role because they need talent or players that are very solid. Before Casemiro panned out, remember we spent 65 million on Illaramendi from Real Sociedad,
I remember
who was
Lacazette,
supposed to be a photocopy of Xabi Alonso.
yeah.
Came through the same system as Xabi Alonso, plays similar to Xabi Alonso, has the same play style, but he didn't pan out. And we were lucky Casemiro.
No, go on.
I was saying we were lucky Casemiro pan out to cover for that like deficiency that we had. And after that, you see, we went straightly into paying 80 mil for Tchouameni without thinking twice. Barca should be on the same trajectory and finding a replacement for Busquets, who would defend but still find it easier to link up with the front line.
And I think that just goes on to show how instrumental Busquets really was to this Barcelona team. And, you know, yes, Busquets was amazing when it came to playing from the back and facilitating and controlling the tempo of the team. But Busquets was also a defensive shield for that team, and he was able to be defensively sound for years at Barcelona. And something I also want to touch upon is like the unsung heroes of the early 2010 Real Madrid, the likes of Lassana Diarra. You don't really see Lassana Diarra's name being thrown around as much anymore. That's really disappointing. The likes of Khedira, like people forget Xabi Alonso. Yes, Xabi Alonso. Yeah, Makelele as well. But like Xabi Alonso, he was amazing, but even Xabi Alonso needed a Khedira. Even as Zidane needed a Makelele. And to me, it's so bizarre because the blueprint is there. The blueprint has been set up by these great teams. You look at the best teams over the last few years, and all of those teams have, like, the CDM position is instrumental. Just like you need someone up front to score goals, just like you need a good goalkeeper. You cannot ignore the CDM position. That's the tempo of your team. And I'm even looking back now at the Euros. When Rodri came off and they brought in Zubimendi, and, you know, English fans, they were looking at Zubimendi as like, yeah, this is going to be easy food. But then you realized how incredibly gifted Zubimendi is at controlling tempo.
Yes.
And now he's coming to Liverpool. It's like that position, the CDM position, is a paramount position in the game. And as you said, the likes of Barcelona, they should be spending a lot more of their funding on getting a CDM of a high standard, because Barcelona right here, they have a very unique opportunity with the pieces they have to kind of try and recreate what Spain looked like in the Euros, but in my opinion at even higher level, because instead of having Morata up front, you have Lewandowski, you've got Yamal. I don't know what the situation is with Nico Williams. I'm going to ask you in a second, but you could get in a winger that can do a job like Nico Williams. Then you've got Olmo and Pedri. You only need that CDM, like, you know, because that's really going to be Barcelona's only way to compete against Real Madrid this season. Barcelona are in big trouble because Real Madrid. I saw Mbappe's first goal. I was like, yeah, get ready, guys, because it's going to be nasty. It's going to be a long year for rival fans. The only way for Barcelona to be
You saw that,
yeah, that goal was amazing. The only way for Barcelona to be competitive this year is to try and maximize the football playing ability, and just really relying on the system. And if you're not going to create the best system possible, I think it's a forfeit. So yeah, good point there on the CDM. But that kind of brings us
yeah.
that kind of brings me to my next question, and my next question is about Nico Williams. Can you please, Yusuf, tell me, because I've not really been keeping up with it, what's the latest on Nico Williams to Barcelona?
The deal on Nico Williams is done. Nico isn't be coming to Barcelona this season. He's already been given the number 10 position. The number 10 at Athletic Bilbao, his brother spoke to him and they agreed to play one more season together.
Yeah.
They gave him the number 10 jersey today. So I don't think someone who just received the number 10 jersey from a team would believe in the team. So I think Barcelona fans should just shut the door on um, Nico signing for Barcelona this season. But maybe there's hope for the future. But for this season, he's staying at Atletico. His brother has confirmed he's staying. The team has confirmed he's staying. They don't have any plans of moving him this season.
Again, it's a shame because Barca, you really, pardon me, you really have the blueprint of what a great team looks like. You really have the blueprint of what a great football playing side looks like. It's just about executing, because we'll soon realize how nasty this Real Madrid team is.
Mm-hmm.
We'll soon realize. And of course, last year we were talking about, will Ancelotti be able to make it work? There were a lot of fans wanting Ancelotti out of the club. He made it work. I believe Ancelotti will also be able to make it work with Mbappe. So, again,
Facts.
it's going to be...
And there's already, and I have to say something small about the whole Mbappe thing. If you want to really know if Kylian Mbappe would work at Real Madrid or not, I would entreat everybody to go to the official Real Madrid Instagram page. Go follow Jude Bellingham, follow Kylian Mbappe, follow Vinicius Jr., follow Rodrigo, follow Chouameni and Camavinga. Those are 6 players I would say follow on Instagram. If you don't see the togetherness on all of these players' page, you're going to see it on the Real Madrid page. And there was a picture today that came out with Vini, Bellingham, and Kylian sitting down on the ground and having a laugh. So to everybody who thinks this thing might not work, or to everybody who thinks this experiment might not go together because of ego, it is already going good. They seem to be training together. I have seen too many pictures of Bellingham near Mbappe for me to feel like they have a problem. I've seen too many pictures of Vinny laughing with Kylian for me to think they have a problem. So we are on the right track, and we all know if there's one manager in world football that can bring these people together and create that bond, that manager is who? Ancelotti. So I think people should just wait to see it unfold before they make decisions about whether it will work or not because of ego.
And just to tell you, like, how skewed this market is. And again, I just want to speak to Chelsea fans here for a second. Chelsea just keep overpaying for players, left, right, and center. It is shocking how much Chelsea are. They just paid 60 million euros for Pedro Neto. They just paid 60 million euros for Pedro Neto. This is in the same window that João Neves went for 59 and Dani Olmo went for 55. All I'm saying is I'm saying to Chelsea need to get a CEO as soon as possible, a competent CEO, because it's not working. Pedro Neto, no disrespect, great player, but where? Which other team would be paying 60 million for Pedro Neto?
It's amazing. I saw something on TikTok, and even our guy Stone Avenue said he's beginning to think Chelsea is in the business of signing players just to sell them.
Yeah.
Or Chelsea is in the business, and I'm on of another thought. I feel like Chelsea is in the business of money laundering, signing players, making losses of them on them, and selling them for cheaper. So, to me, I think Chelsea is in the business of money laundering. Chelsea is doing something under the books, and I just hope they don't get caught because it's amazing. This is no disrespect to any player they have signed, but the only team that would make triple signings of players in the same position is Chelsea. They don't even know what they are doing with the first player they signed, but they will manage to get his brother, his in-law, and his stepson in the same transfer window. It's amazing.
This Chelsea team.
And I know Chelsea fans will come for me saying everything they want. You can clip this. If you are a Chelsea fan and you think this is good business, this is the reason why you've been eighth for the past 3 years. Yeah, if you are a Chelsea fan and you think signing a host of players with no direction, signing a host of players with no involvement of even the coach, I think, signing a host of players with no competent sporting director or manager or nothing is the way to go, then be comfortable being out of the Champions Leagues and the Europeans and stuff like that. Unless there's a miracle and all of these players find a way to click, like the way Cole Palmer clicked last season, trust me, because your signings don't have a direction. Your team doesn't have a direction. Your team doesn't have a play style. Changing of managers means mentally the players are not sound. And these are all of the things that is needed for a team to be competitive. Manchester United has some of these things and are still facing trouble. Liverpool, after losing Klopp last season, are trying to find stability in their team. The likes of West Ham have found their stability and are signing players to convince stars to stay for them to chase something. These are three teams of different levels in the EPL that I've mentioned that are doing things for their own upliftment. I want you to mention one thing solid you think Chelsea is doing right now to the squad, to mentality, to everything that is going on in the team right now. Mention one thing that you feel like it's heading towards the best of directions.
You can't.
They wouldn't be able to mention
Radio
anything.
silence.
You get me? So the fact that we chastised Manchester United for every move, we should chastise Chelsea for making dumb moves too. And no disrespect to Neto, you're an amazing player, but probably, there's a lot of use on the team. There's a lot of use on their books on loan.
Oh yeah, talking about the loans, Chelsea are starting the season with I think it's 40 or 45 players. How do you have a squad
Facts.
of 40 players? In what universe does that make? In what universe does a squad of 40 players sound like a successful team? A team that's got direction, that's got a vision, that's got tactical ambition. It doesn't. Having 40 players heading into the season, and fair enough, not all of these players are going to start, but it just means there's a lot of clearing out that Chelsea have to do. A lot of clearing out. And I feel like if you're a Chelsea fan, at this point, you have to be comfortable with your team not being competitive or not even smelling Champions League, if at all that, for the next 2 seasons, while they try and rebuild. I said this last year and I'll say it again. Chelsea's main priority right now should be sorting out their infrastructure, and Chelsea's main priority right now should be sorting out the structure at the top. Who's doing what, and who's working with the manager to fulfill the vision. That should be Chelsea's number one priority right now. But yes, let's again,
Facts.
guys. There are a
And they know it.
Yeah, there are a lot
Let's
of
not be ignorant.
transfers.
They know it.
There are a lot of transfers to talk about. Um, on Atletico Madrid as well, Yusuf, they just signed Alexander Sorloth to Atletico Madrid. We won't get into it too much, but again, Atletico Madrid making moves up front because
Mm-hmm.
Sorloth was one of the top scorers last year in La Liga for Villarreal. I mean, when we
Mm-hmm.
all know the good season that Villarreal had last year. But there's Sorloth to Atletico
Mm-hmm.
Madrid. You've got Pedro Neto. You've got Solanke, who we didn't even touch upon. Solanke for 64 million to Tottenham. That's going to be interesting.
Facts.
You've got Folkberg going from Dortmund to West Ham. There's just a lot of signings. You've got
Mm-hmm.
Fabio Carvalho, who's meant to be the next big thing for Liverpool, being sold to Brentford for 23
Mm-hmm.
million. There are a lot of things to be talked about, but we can't talk about all of them at once because there is something that I really want to focus on. Something I've been mentioning all throughout today's episode, and that is the new Champions League format. And now the Champions League only
Facts.
comes back in mid-September. But if you guys have followed this channel for enough time, or if you watched me in other avenues, you know how the Champions League group stage is my favorite part of the Champions League. You just get to see the best team in Europe go at each other. And as far as football competitions go in the world, I've said this before and I'll say it again. In my opinion, at least, the Champions League is the best sports competition in the world. I'm a Formula One fan. I'm an NBA fan, NFL fan, UFC fan. I even like the Euro League. Great competitions, but
Mm-hmm.
the Champions League gets the best of the best in world football. It gets the best in Europe, gets all the champions across Europe, and puts them in one competition. And this year they are
Facts.
going even bigger. And if I'm going to be completely honest, I like the new format. There are of course fans that have already said, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Why are you gonna change
Why
it?
fix it? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like these are just no disrespect, but these fans are just the fans that you don't that just football Twitter or all over again, and the people that are not willing to see the change or to make a little bit more or put a little bit more research into what's going on. So I'll attempt very quickly to try and explain what's going on. I apologize if I make any mistakes because there's a lot of changes going on in the group stage. So pretty much after the round of 16,
Yeah.
the Champions League is remaining the same. So from the round of 16 all the way to the final, the competition is pretty much the same. The biggest difference that we're going to get in the Champions
Mm-hmm.
League is in the group stage because there will no longer be, 8 groups in the competition. The whole grouping is going off,
Mm-hmm.
and there's going to be 4 new teams added. And in this new system, you're going to have a league system being played. So each team is going to play each other once 8 times. So all 36 teams will play 8 games, 4 at home, 4 away. They're going to play one team, or one rounded team of those 8 once. And that just means that one, there's going to be, of course, more revenue to the Champions League. There's going to be more revenue for the clubs. There's going to be more
More games.
entertainment for us. But even from just a quality standpoint, it also just means that, for example, we've seen it so many times where Manchester City would get into an easy group and they would pump the likes of, like Dinamo. They would pump Dinamo multiple times. They would pump the likes of Leipzig. So you'd have this big
Mhm.
disparity. But because these teams only get to play each other once, you're really going to see the big teams going against each other, or at least is what I'm hoping for,
Yeah.
at an early stage.
Mhm.
At an early stage.
Mhm.
And the new competition is also going to be the new top 8, because what's going to happen is the top 8 teams of the Champions League
Mhm.
new group stage advanced to the next stage of the round of 16, and then the teams, I think, is from 9th all the way down to 24. They play a knockout system. So after the 8 games played, we're gonna get another phase, which is going to be like a mini knockout system where the next 8 teams also make it through. A lot of talking. I know it's a lot of explaining, a lot to get your heads around, but it's going to be massive. It's going to be even bigger, and I think that is something that football, or at least us as football fans, should be hoping for, and the corporations within football should be trying to aim for. Not just for financial gains, because they're always going to try and make more money, but even from a quality standpoint, in my opinion, it looks like they've tried to improve the quality. Yeah, but what are your thoughts on it, Yusuf? The new Champions League system.
Yeah. I'm actually looking forward to seeing how it plays out.
Yeah.
On paper, it looks interesting. It looks good. But until the new format prevents your team from crossing it, people are, so I'm very optimistic. I know it's gonna be more random games that we didn't expect. We don't normally expect in group stages. It is going to be more dynamic. It is going to be more unpredictable because some of the group stage fixtures, the moment they are out, we can read and see, oh, this is how it's going to be, and it is going to allow other teams to read teams and play up to their levels. On the group stage system, it is already set for you to play this game, that game, and that game. But in this format, you're going to play someone who isn't necessarily in your group, but a random person, and they might have your number. You get me? There's the possibility of teams playing each other more times and more games for us and more entertainment. I want to see something random. We've seen this format of the Champions League for so long. In
Yeah.
football, we are lucky enough to have a governing body that doesn't do too many changes. In other sports, they are dynamically changing every season.
Yeah.
Last year or last 2 seasons, I heard about baseball. I think baseball bringing in new rules because the game is too long and all of those things.
Yeah.
You constantly hear in basketball every season, um, new rules, new things going on, reaching rules, and all of those things, depending on player antics and how players are handling some of the advantages referees give them. So you could see other sports are doing everything in their power to make their leagues or their sports more dynamic. So basketball, football, we should be looking to do the same and not be stuck in our own ways. Because the moment we are stuck, the whole world of sports and athletics would move past us, and it will become like our game isn't growing. The new fan needs something different from what his father or uncle watched. That way, there's something else to talk about in the house. You understand me? So, as a football fan, I like it. I'm here for it. I want to see how the first season of it works. And if it doesn't work to our liking, we'll definitely come back here and break it down and share our concerns.
Of course, always. And yeah, talking about the new format and the new teams, as I said, every year now, the big talk or the prediction is going to be who are going to be the top eight. Because most likely, whoever finishes inside the top eight, they're going to be good enough to go on to win the whole thing. And so, what I want to do
Facts.
next is look at the teams that are in the Champions League and look at which teams are going to be able to make it to the next round. I mean, to the top eight. I mean, because what's also going to happen is that, especially towards the bottom, you're going to begin to see a lot more matchup problems. That's something that in football, because of the old
Yeah.
group stage format, you didn't really get to experiment with a lot of these matchups. Is because in certain teams are better built or better constructed to go against certain teams. For example, a team that plays five at the back, how they go up against another team that may play a 4-4-2 system or 4-3-3 system. Those matchup problems are going to happen a lot more and just going to make for a lot more dynamic, a lot more entertaining football. Wait, I'm trying to get the teams that are going to be in the Champions League. I had it earlier on. I don't know where it went. Anyways, we know which teams are in there, so we're gonna try and come up with our own top eight. So in my most humble opinion, I think the top eight is going to look a little bit something like this. I think you're gonna have Real Madrid, of course, in the top eight. Real Madrid have to be in that top eight, or it's gonna be talked about. You're gonna have Man City. You're going to have Bayern Munich. I think that those three teams are the favorites to win the whole thing. So Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, um, Man City. I feel like PSG are going to surprise a lot of football. I'm sorry, a lot of people with the way with the new football that they're going to be playing with Luis Enrique and the system that he's going to come up with of course the João Neves coming in and how do you say how fluid that midfield has been. And then that leaves for other teams. I think that you have to add in Arsenal to that mix. I think Arsenal, for you to go neck and neck with with Man City for so long, I think you have to be in that position. I'm going to give Liverpool the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give Atletico Madrid the benefit of the doubt, and I'm also going to give Inter Milan the benefit of the doubt. I think that those are going to be the 8 teams that are going to make it straight away through the top 8.
Facts. I think I agree with your list.
What
I think I agree with your list.
and again, if I had to give any other names that could possibly make the top 8, it would be the likes of Dortmund. Dortmund always surprises. I know Dortmund made it to the final this year, and I left them out of this list. No disrespect. It's just I thought Dortmund were quite lucky last year. I can of course be proven wrong this year, but I thought they were quite lucky. You of course have Leverkusen. By Leverkusen, they could of course carry on that form that they had last year and surprise a lot of people coming into the new Champions League. I shouldn't really call it a group stage because it's not a group stage, but the new Champions League format, that's going to be interesting as well. So yeah, as far as changes goes, I'm happy for it. I'm happy. I'm excited, and I hope it works well for everyone involved, for the clubs, for UEFA, and for us as the fans. From what's it called? An entertainment standpoint.
Facts. Facts. I think everything is gearing up well for it to be an amazing show, and we are here for it.
Now, do you want to talk about the La Liga first or the Premier League first? Which one? Which one are you more excited
Any
for?
direction you want to. I think the La Liga is kind of a dub this season, so let's talk about the Premier League.
Yeah, so we'll start with the Premier League and predictions for this season. Now, here's the thing. Something that really annoys me is that people, they make these prediction lists and they're like, yeah, he's gonna finish first and he's gonna finish, and it's like, fair enough. We could try and sort out the order of who's going to win, but at the end of the day, that really just comes down to it comes down to a lot of luck and etc. And I'm not really for that. What I'm really for is talking about which teams will finish within each area, because as we know, I want to talk about who's going to be contending for the league, who's going to be in the Champions League battle, and who's going to be relegated. Because the teams in the middle, I guess, but who's going to win the league, who's going to be in Champions League and European contention, and who's going to be relegated. And straight away, you of course need to talk about Arsenal and Man City, because unless what's his name, not Sirloff, what's Liverpool's new manager name? Oh, I always forget his name. A Slot. I was almost there. Unless Arne Slot comes up with, an amazing way to present this team and has this team playing amazing football from the get-go, I think that the battle will really be between Arsenal and Manchester City, and then that leaves third and fourth place open. Now, we're of course always going to make rooms for the likes of Aston Villa, for the likes of other teams that are perhaps going to come in and be a surprise. But at least in my opinion, with the way things are gearing up, you can't dismiss Aston Villa for top 6, top 5 fight. You can't dismiss Newcastle. But I generally believe that the third and fourth place this year will be fought between Manchester United and Liverpool. Of course, you can always be wrong. Teams can always come up. Teams can always underperform. But that battle will be between Liverpool and Manchester United. And of course, the main title fight will be between Arsenal and Manchester City.
That is true, though. That is true. I feel like it's going to be a repeat of last season. Both teams look solid enough to go through the season. So yeah, Manchester City still looks scary as a team. They still have Pep Guardiola at the helm, and it's looking at this as Pep Guardiola's last season. So
Hopefully.
I'm sure he would want to go out with a bang.
Yeah. Hopefully it's Pep's last season.
He was one.
And I mean that in the best way possible. I mean that in the most respectful way possible, because Pep has been terrorizing this league forever, and it would be nice if we could get a nice break from him and City's dominance. But yeah, I think that would be a top 4 battle. I also want to throw in, as I said, the likes of Newcastle and Aston Villa into that fight. I don't want to totally dismiss Chelsea, because let's not forget that Chelsea had a good they had a good end to the season last year. Chelsea still managed to finish within the top six. When they didn't have the best start, they finished extremely strong. They won their last 5 games, and the only three
Yeah.
teams, the only three teams to win their last 5 games last year were City, Arsenal, and Chelsea. Chelsea had a perfect run of form last year, and with a manager like, with a new manager, with the likes of Cole Palmer getting better, the integration of players like Pedro Neto into the team. We've not seen Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez at their best yet. Yeah, I'm not going to totally dismiss Chelsea, and I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea managed to get themselves in the top 4 battle as well.
Hmm.
Oh, and Tottenham, excuse me. Tottenham also finished 5th last season, and this year they managed to get themselves a striker.
I'm looking more towards West Ham to be making a fight. I like the signings they have done so far this season.
Hmm.
So I'm looking towards like West Ham. I'm looking towards a Newcastle to still find ways to remain competitive. Honestly, I'm not really looking at Chelsea because I don't understand the direction Chelsea is trying to go. I just hope something clicks for them. But if it doesn't click, they are going to be like on a downward spiral like they've always been. They might have some spurts throughout the season because they are Chelsea, but once you don't have a direction, it's easy for your players to fall back into the losing mentality. And that is what I feel like Chelsea is doing so far. They have too many players that don't understand how to play with each other.
Yeah. And another thing I wanted to talk to you about is, should Arsenal have a bit more urgency in signing a striker? Because are we gonna rely for Gabriel? Are we gonna rely on Gabriel Jesus for another season?
Mhm.
I mean, excuse me. Do we think Jesus is going to be that guy finally? Because Arsenal, as good as they are, as amazing as the football they play is, even a team like City, who was ahead of them, who had just won 3 leagues in 4 years, went out of their way to go and sign Erling Haaland. And I've not seen Arsenal having that same sense of urgency. For example, West Ham just went on to sign Fogberg. United just went on to sign Xerxes. And I know these aren't amazing. I mean, Fogberg is more experienced, and even Xerxes, I don't think Xerxes is that amazing. But the point is the sense of urgency to fill in the gaps in their team. And I feel like Arsenal, a team as good as they are, as good as they've shown to be, and with the opportunity to go on to make a title run again this year, signing a striker should be a massive priority, because it's going to increase your chances of winning the whole thing exponentially, especially in games where it is a bit tighter against the middle of the table teams that as we know in the Premier League. You can't really you don't really expect any team to win every single game, so there will be games where you're going to be surprised by these teams, and with a team like City at your heels, you're not really allowed to drop any points.
Facts.
So I just feel like Arsenal should have a much or no much they should have a greater sense of urgency when it comes to getting in that striker.
I think the striker role is Arsenal's biggest problem, and the day they solve that problem is the day they remain more competitive than they are. I am on record saying even the likes of Nketiah at a point did more for this Arsenal forward line than Gabriel Jesus. A non-goal scoring striker never helps a team. And Arsenal fans don't want to accept the fact that that is their weakest link on the team.
Yes.
Gabriel Jesus and the striker role is their weakest position on the team. Once they can pull out and out striker who can like score goals, they would be more scary and more competitive. So Arsenal should figure out how to sort out the striker role, and they know it. I don't think you should put your eggs in the whole Gabriel Jesus basket. It is not going to help the squad.
And oh shoot, I kind of lost my train of thought there. But yes, we'll revisit the Premier League. I feel like having the every what I want to do as well is every week have a power ranking of each team. We'll have a top 5 and also top 5 players. We'll have that coming.
Mhm.
But because the show's coming to an end, I want to move on quickly to to La Liga because I don't think La Liga is going to be
Yeah.
as straightforward this year. Because people always, for example, in the Premier League,
Mhm.
people always say, "Oh, City just win it every year," but they kind of forget the fact that for the last 2 years, it's been very close with Arsenal. 3 years ago,
Mhm.
City kind of ran away with it, but then the 2 years prior to that was also very close to Liverpool. So just looking at which team won, it's not really an it's not really an indication of how the season is going to be. Another thing is also the fact that the Premier League, from
Facts.
first place to eighth place, all eight of those teams
Mhm.
are fighting for something. They are all fighting for European
Yeah.
football. You've got 6 slots there in the Premier League for you that get you into European football. Or is it 6? Yeah, 6 slots. So each team is fighting for those slots. 6, 7 slots actually, because there's the Conference League now. Very
That is
important.
facts.
Very important to make it. It's no longer just a top six, and like each year you get an Aston Villa, you get a Leicester City, you get a West Ham, you get teams that just surprise you. So teams like
Mhm.
Arsenal, you have to be on your best behavior. You do not want to drop points because, as we saw, Arsenal lost the league by 2 points last year.
Yeah.
I saw Arteta saying it in the preseason. The goal for every team, especially the teams that are going to win, is to win every single game. That should be your goal. May not
True.
happen, but that's the goal. That's the standard and that's the ambition you should be heading into the season with, to win
Mhm.
every single game. And again, Arsenal, if you're not going to sort out that striker problem, it just tells me that you guys may not be ready quite yet, or how can I say this? You're gonna come up short again. You're gonna come up short again. And you don't want United to
No, but look,
you don't want United to get stronger. You don't want Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham to get stronger.
let me get into the minds of some teams, and we've been watching football for most of our lives. Let's understand something, and let me take you back to a Carlo Ancelotti quote. He said, "Coming into the game knowing I have Cristiano Ronaldo, it means I already have one goal in the match. All I have to do is defend that one goal and score more." That means coming into the game knowing he has Cristiano Ronaldo, he feels like he's already won the game. All he has to do is defend one goal. Zinedine Zidane said something regarding something around the same region of the fact that having Cristiano Ronaldo makes him feel at ease because regardless of how the game is going, he feels like a miracle can be made. Similar statements have been made about Lionel Messi. Every team psychologically entering into a game, the best way to prove you can dominate the other team is if there is doubt in the minds of some of the players on the other team. And how do you plant the doubt even before the game starts? Is by the caliber of players you present on the pitch. If you have players of a certain standard, it is obvious players beneath those players are going to see them and be intimidated by them. So let's take the Arsenal squad. You might have a Odegaard who's playing exceptional and have a Rice who's playing exceptional football to intimidate the midfielders. Who up front is going to intimidate what? The defenders. You would mention a Saka, you would mention a Martinelli. Who up front was going to intimidate the centre backs? You are going to mention El Gabriel Jesus. No disrespect, but how many centre backs in world football or how many centre backs in the top teams in world football now would come into a game with Arsenal and be intimidated by Gabriel Jesus? That list that you make of the centre backs that won't be intimidated by Gabriel Jesus shows you how far this Arsenal team with a Gabriel Jesus can go in all of the competitions they are involved in. Because you need your striker to put a certain level of fear in the centre backs so they make mistakes, so they are undecisive, so they are jittery. That is the way you get some easy goals for your striker. Most of the goals Haaland scores are from mistakes of centre backs. Fail to make a run, too concentrated on Haaland that they miss their readings, too concentrated on the striker that they miss offside positions, to Haaland making them too tired by the 30th minute. We have centre backs talking about one of most of the players they find very difficult to defend. And what do they go straight towards? He makes you work for 90 minutes. And the striker that is making you work for 90 minutes, the striker that is um, dealing with you not only physically but mentally, having you have to psych your man to constantly stay in the game to be behind this guy, because the second you sleep, he's gone. Those are the strikers that make a mark without even touching the ball. And I don't think Gabriel Jesus is one of those strikers. I don't think Morata is one of those strikers. I can mention a few strikers that I don't believe are one of those strikers. So as now, to remain competitive, go out there and get someone who is going to put fear in those defenders.
I think you hit a home run right there, and again, it's just more of the same with Arsenal. But we have to move on, guys. We have to move on to La Liga, because hey, Barcelona. I warned you guys. I've been warning you guys all summer, and right now I'm taking Atletico Madrid over Barcelona to finish second. Of course, Real Madrid are going to be expected to finish first. That's the standard for Real Madrid. If I have to make a La Liga prediction, I have Real Madrid going first. And if Real Madrid don't finish first, I am coming for Perez. I'm coming for Ancelotti. I'm coming for Mbappe. I'm coming for all of those guys. But I don't believe that's going to happen. I don't think I'll have criticism for them. I do think they are going to win it. So
Everybody will get it.
yeah, but again, they should be winning it. What I've been seeing all summer, especially after the Euros, during the Euros, I saw the Spain team, and I saw a lot of these players like Dani Olmo would love to play for Barcelona, love to play for Barcelona. Even the like of Zubimendi, for example, that went on to go to Liverpool. He was at Sociedad,
Mm-hmm.
same league. You could have swooped him into your team, but no. This comes down to
Yeah.
poor financial management. This is going to be the same thing that's said about United, the same thing that's said about Chelsea, that goes on to Barcelona. You can't be a successful football team if the structure at the top is not solid. If the structure
Facts.
at the top is not solid, you will not be a successful football team, because you have a team like Barcelona, who are meant to be a top two, top three biggest clubs in world football, but they can't go on and get these essential signings to compete with Real Madrid, when Real Madrid are going out of their way to sign the best player in the world. Barcelona,
Facts.
they're not only a step behind, they're three, 4 steps behind. And it is worrying for the balance of football, especially in Spain. And at the minute, I'm looking at Atletico Madrid, a team who is extremely solid defensively. It is in their DNA. And then they just went on to sign Alvarez and Soloff. I trust Atletico Madrid to be more consistent for the season. We've seen it, for example, in the 2021, 2021 year. Was it 2021, if I'm not mistaken? It was. When Atletico Madrid just managed to win the league over Real Madrid. Atletico Madrid, they're going to be in the mix every single year. Even if they are the
Yeah.
best team, even if they don't play attractive football, they just find a way to keep themselves in. And I just feel like with signing these two strikers, they're going to be so dangerous. And Barca, I just pray for them. It's like you have to pray that Yamal can be who these guys think he is.
Messi's second coming.
But yeah, I'll let you go off on La Liga now, because as the
La Liga, resident La Liga expert,
yeah,
you know?
I was gonna say, as the resident guy in Spain, I'll let you go.
Yeah. La Liga is going to be fun this season, I feel.
It will.
Kylian Mbappe, the spark of the Spanish national team, winning the Olympics. People have forgotten they just won the Olympics, and winning the Euro competition, the spark of some of the players. The whole fun around the La Liga is amazing. We are seeing most of the bigger signings or bigger teams make moves, but what we don't realize is the smaller teams are also making moves. Traditional teams like Espanyol are back in the La Liga. You understand me? There's a lot going on in the La Liga, players making movements and stuff like that. So, yeah, overall excitement of the La Liga is going to go up, and we know the market value of some names in football. Kylian Mbappe coming to Real Madrid is going to be big for the La Liga. Trust me, there's a handful of people that are constantly waiting for big names to be the reason why they watch La Liga, and they are going to tune in this season because of a Kylian Mbappe, because they want to see the partnership between an Mbappe, Vini Jr., and a Rodrigo, or the formation, the Valverdes. What are they going to do with the Chouaminis, the Camavingas, the Jude Bellinghams? It is going to be just overall excitement. But you've noticed everything about excitement I've mentioned is about one team. If Barcelona was going to if Barcelona completed the signing of Nico Williams, it is going to give fans another angle to look for. Now Barcelona are going to be the, I'm going to say they are going to be the step brother that you hope does well with you. Because if they don't do well, it is going to be like they were neglected, even though you guys went through the same upbringing. You get what I mean? So now, but Real Madrid is looking at Barcelona like catch up. Atletico are the ones really catching up. I hope he's able to switch his play style a little to facilitate for where the league is going.
Diego,
And
yeah.
I hope teams like Athletic Bilbao, after managing to keep Nico Williams, remain competitive to make the league more competitive. Because Nico is going to be on one this season. He's going to prove his Euros performance wasn't a fluke. There are other players that are going to prove their worth this season. The younger players that won the Olympics are going into this season feeling like, yo, this is my time to show I belong. Barcelona are trying to pump in all most of the newer or younger kids in their squad to prove something. So all I'm saying is La Liga is going to be exciting. The inflow of new players is going to make the league more exciting. It's still Real Madrid's league to lose. I feel like Real Madrid losing this league just means I would rate it as the biggest fail in our team history after everything we have. But I see, as you said, I see Atletico being more competitive than Barcelona in the squad because Atletico are doing signings that goes to the direction of the future, and that goes to a slight play style change if you look at it. Because he's not going for the orthodox type of players that he goes for from the Italian league that would come and be bruisers. He's trying to find more finesse players that can still be the bruisers he wants, but have their element of flair.
Bye. We'll stop there, guys. Yusuf, is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I'm good. I'm good for now. I want to give a shout out to the France and the Spain Olympic teams for giving us such a performance.
Yeah.
I like the game. I have a different respect for Thierry Henry just because of the unity he has with the squad. I like the way he dances, he plays with the squad. If he continues like this, he would have a chance to redeem himself or redeem what he did as a manager in football.
Life with
So I
Monaco.
want to give a good shout out because I feel like this, yeah, with Monaco. I feel like this year Olympics football has wasn't celebrated like football Olympic football normally does get celebrated. You get me? I feel like every other sports have taken the highlights. So let me give a shout out to the um, Spanish team for winning it and give a shout out to the French team for giving us a performance. They won gold and silver.
Yeah.
Also want to give a shout out to the women's side. I want to give a shout out to the women's side. The United States and Brazil went to the final. United States won gold and Brazil won silver. Germany and Spain went on the bronze medal match. Germany came out with the bronze. I want to give a shout out to the women for an amazing performance. an amazing performance. And even though the highlight was not placed as much on the women's and men's Olympics football games as they did all of the other sports, let's still celebrate them for an amazing performance.
Well said. Well said. And again, we did not cover the Olympic today as much because, as we told you guys at the start, there is a lot to talk about in world football. The season's gonna start this week. Things are ramping up. Final days of the transfer market. Last minute signings. Teams are getting desperate. Players are getting desperate, and of course the nerves of the season starting. But as per usual, guys, we'll see you guys soon. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you all of you guys that watched. Big up Frederick.
Right.
Big up Kagotsi. Big up what's his name? MFC 2009. Big up all of you guys, and we'll see you again soon.
Peace.
We'll see you guys
Appreciate you.
soon.